Oh, what a rush. I love that song right there. When I hear that theme music, you know what it is. Welcome into Foxborough Rush. Travis Thomas here with the legend, Jade McCarthy, who I am petitioning as we speak to get a statue outside of Messon as we speak.
No statues. I mean, we already did the statue thing last week. And, you know, Brady played it off with his jokes. He did a good job trying to, he did. The one time people are going to describe me as chiseled. Okay.
Well, Jade, I always love working with you, and we're going to get into preseason game numero dos for the Patriots, taking on the Vikings in Minnesota. Don't you know? By the way, open practice again this week, the joint practices with these teams. We talked about the videos coming out of there, how the offensive line struggled at times, how Drake Maye looked good at times, but struggled against that pass rush at other times. Stefon Diggs, we'll get into him later on in the show as well. But as we go into preseason game 2, if you were to give me a couple of bullet points here of what you're looking for from the Patriots in this matchup with the Vikings, what would it be?
Effort and finish. I mean, let's just go back to what Vrabel has been preaching, since he became the head coach of the New England Patriots. He wants to see effort. He wants to see finish. I think that's what we want to see out of this team against the Minnesota Vikings come Saturday afternoon. Fun fact, the Patriots haven't had a preseason game kick off at 1 o'clock since 1997. They played Denver, and Pete Carroll was the head coach of the New England Patriots. So there's one for you, Travis. But look, I mean, I think you want effort. I think you want finish. I think that we saw a lot, obviously, out of this team in the toe-to-toe as they took on the Minnesota Vikings in practice. This is a 14-win team for Minnesota a season ago. And obviously there's changes. Every season is different. There is zero question about that. The quarterback is different. But we also know J.J. McCarthy's not going to be out there on Saturday. He's not going to get the start for the Vikings. But for me, I really want to hone in on this Patriots offense with this game in particular. I'm really curious, what does Drake Maye look like out there? What does this offensive line look like? We saw the mistake, last Friday against the Commanders. Minnesota, when it comes to their defense, it is probably more chaotic than any other defense in the league when it comes to what they're throwing at you at the line. So how are they going to handle that? We've seen some glimpses of it, obviously, this week in that joint practice, but I think to see it for however long they're going to be out there, that's something that I'm really honing in on, Travis.
Samesies. I mean, listen, Brian Flores and the Vikings don't give a damn if it's preseason, regular season, playoffs, Walgreen parking lot. It doesn't matter. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at you when it comes to defense. I think it's a great test, quite frankly, for this Patriots offensive line, young quarterback, which brings me to mind. I just want to see the starters get significant minutes in this game. That last preseason game, maybe you see them, maybe you don't, depending on some of the teams around this league. I would think in the Patriots case, you could see some of these guys in that last preseason game. But certainly, preseason game number 2 is the last full dress rehearsal, at least as far as I'm concerned, that I want to see starters get significant time in this game. I want to see Kevin O'Connell as well. We talk about Brian Flores as a coordinator. How about the head coach?
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell against Mike Vrabel as well is intriguing to me. Even though it's just a preseason, a lot of these teams are vanilla. They don't show you a lot of stuff. I think these two guys, at least early on with the ones, I know McCarthy's out, but he hasn't proven anything any damn way. So who cares? J.J. McCarthy, we'll see him when we see him. To me, I almost feel like the Vikings are still going to have the same game plan with him or not. So I want to see when the ones are in. I want to see both of these coaches sort of in a chess match, Vrabel and O'Connell I'm talking about. In fact, we heard from Mike Vrabel talking about all these joint practices this week, how they simulate, gameplay, and how Drake Maye did. Let's take a listen to the head coach.
These practices are like a game. We've said that. There's ups and downs. We hit some plays. They hit some plays. There's an intermission, and again, there's a break with special teams, and then usually a 2-minute situation at the end. So, we were able to make a play at the 2-minute situation, and kind of the same thing defensively. They hit some plays. We were able to have some good plays and again, just looking for some consistency. And I think what they do defensively is a great challenge for us. To come up here without any real practice or any look and be able to, have some good plays. And again, some plays that, we have to improve on. But I think it's a good start.
Like, how good of an education on the fly is that for the offensive line dealing with Bryant's?
Yeah, I mean, it's for everybody, right? It's for the quarterback to be able to communicate and get us in the right protection, communicate and go from there, but execute, right? And I think the big thing is, once you communicate, we have to execute and the fundamentals and, make corrections quickly and go from there.
How do you think Drake did yesterday handling?
I thought he did well. I thought it's easy to go into blender when you're seeing a bunch of this stuff and kind of scrambling and turning one, less than favorable play into a real storm. So I didn't see that. I thought he was able to process and we didn't execute all the time, but I didn't see any panic from him. I thought he was able to communicate and get the things that he wanted and then hit some plays because of it. When we blocked him, we were able to make some plays. And then we'll just have to try to see what happens today and continue to go from there.
All right, there you go, Jade. I mean, Mike Vrabel there. We'll get into him more because I want to show you a piece of video about Mike Vrabel. But before we get there, it should be noted, Sam Howell will get the start here against the Patriots. I covered him during his time with the Commanders, Jade. He actually throws a really nice ball. The problem with Sam Howell is he'll throw that ball to his team and the other team. So I think the Patriots have an opportunity here to get some turnovers on Sam Howell, Jade. Just saying.
Hey, I mean, that would be great. Let's see what the defense can come up with. That's like half the equation, right? Like, who's going to be out there? Is Kyle Duggar going to be out there at some point? What are we going to see from him? Yeah. He's obviously trying to find his way back up to working with the ones. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And this Minnesota team, they certainly know what takeaways are about. They had enough of them last season. So it'd be nice to see the Patriots defense come up with some against them. If Sam Howell wants to so kindly toss the ball to one of them, as you suggested he may, Travis. Look, I mean, I think what's really the story behind the story to me in all of this is that, like, this was Vrabel's script, right? This was, okay, we did what we did against Washington. We had set the stage. Then we ratcheted it up a notch, went out to Minnesota, had 2 joint practices with the Vikings. Again, a defense that will throw all kinds of things at you. Kevin O'Connell, KOC, who is just one of those head coaches that has shown us that he's a bit of a quarterback whisperer. So we know that he's had so much success over the years with quarterbacks. So this is all very scripted by Vrabel, right? Like, he's trying to get this team ready to start the season against the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's all in stages. So we've moved to the next stage here, getting set for preseason week 2. And as you've pointed out, this is a big game, right? Like, it used to be there were 4 preseason games. All the starters typically, if they played, not like Sean McVay and the Rams, because he doesn't play his starters in the preseason. But if they played, it was usually week 3, that preseason game 3, that was the dress rehearsal. Things have shifted now. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how much time they do get out there. And again, I go back to what I said, the effort and the finish that Vrabel has been preaching about, Travis. But you want to see it at this next level that he's ratcheted things up to coming out of that time against those joint practices with Minnesota.
Well, let's stay with Vrabel for a second because I want to show you a piece of video. Now, last week, I told you I was at the open practice with the Commanders. Every single fight, Mike Vrabel was in the middle of it. One of the videos, he came out with a bloody cheek. Well, here we go again. Anytime there's fisticuffs, anytime there's kerfuffles, anytime there's squabbles, you can bet your bottom dollar Mike Vrabel is right smack dab all up in the middle of it, Jade. Here we go again. Vrabel jumping in these spats. I mean, come on, man. This guy, does he still want to play or what, Jade? What's going on here?
First of all, shout out to Ari, my teammate over on the 33rd team, where I've done some work over the years. He's awesome, and he's always on top of all of it. So I love that we threw him up there to see Vrabel in the middle of the kerfuffle, if you will.
Right.
But look, I mean, I think part of it is the fact that, like, Vrabel is tough. It is part of who he is. And I don't think that he's not going to jump out there. And furthermore, I think he's trying to create that type of identity for this Patriots team. So him getting out there, it's a little bit like, oh, dude, my head coach is out there. Like, I better get my butt in gear. Come on.
Right. I respect it. I mean, he gets out. Well, I think you said it too. The team takes on the identity of the head coach, right? I like that Vrabel will mix it up, whereas when you juxtapose that to the Vikings head coach, Kevin O'Connell, he's a pretty boy. I mean, he's like the boy genius. He's got all the offense. He's got a beautiful mind, right? It's like equations in his head. Vrabel's like, I'll punch you in the mouth, okay? I like that about him.
Well, look, I mean, it's an offense versus defense minded, approach to the system. Yeah. And, I think KOC has worked wonders with quarterbacks because of his background. And there's a relatability there for him that not every coach is going to be able to have with a quarterback. But right. I think that the biggest component of leadership, and we've seen this with, the Vikings and what they've been able to do. We've seen it with Dan Campbell, in Detroit with the Lions, is who are you? And you have to lead as your authentic self. Because all these guys that are playing for you, if you're not being true to who you are and what you think leadership looks like, guess what? Like, they're not buying in. It's not going to happen. There has to be authenticity to it. So if you're Mike Vrabel and part of it is this toughness and it's who you are and you want to get out there and scrap it up with them, well, okay, so be it. Like, that's who he is. That's how he's going to lead this team.
All right, let's go players now. Now we're talking Vrabel. Let's go to players. If we were to pick, 3 players that we have our eyes on in this game, I imagine we're in lockstep with Drake Maye, right? Like, I need to see a little bit more. Give me a larger sample size for Drake Maye. I want to see some pre-snap stuff, too. This is good defense to maybe try that out on. I know the kid's athletic, but now I want to see the beautiful mind, right? I want to see him at the line of scrimmage, picking up blitzes, because they're going to do that. So I need to see some of these things from Drake Maye. I'm not necessarily as enamored with the stats or the physicality. I want to see the mental aspect of him in this game, preseason game 2 against the Vikings. You agree with that?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I also think it's just a matter of, you don't want to see him making the same mistakes repeatedly, right? Like, you want to see him learning as he's going, and as, Josh McDaniels throws more at him and they do more, and, some designed runs or whatever the case may be, right? You want to see that his progression is moving upward, right? And that, like, trajectory is moving upward. And that's not, it's not the stats in, preseason game 2 that I'm really paying attention to. It's more just, is he poised out there, right? Like, you heard Vrabel talk about, when he's in the blender, like, he stayed calm, he stayed poised, he stayed collected. Like, that's what I'm watching for. Are you going to go, okay, wait, I got to take the sack here, as opposed to go for the hero throw, like we saw last Friday night against Washington, and, you wind up with a fumble. So I think it's just a matter of seeing that poise, seeing that command, seeing that things don't feel like they're too fast for him out there on the field. Those are the things that, I'm certainly going to be watching for when it comes to Drake Maye in this game against the Vikings.
Player 2 for me, TreVeyon Henderson. I want more touches. Now, it's weird because I feel like an oxymoron in a way, because I could also see a world where you say, I get he's a rookie, but I've seen enough. He's a stud. Let's rest him. Like, put him in bubble wrap during the week, and then on the weekends, let him sleep in a hyperbaric chamber until the season starts. Like, I also get that mentality, but I think because he is a rookie, you got to earn your keep, kid. So I want more touches from TreVeyon Henderson in this game. He is a home run hitter, and I need to see it. Get him the ball by any means necessary, Jade, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be part of this MO of this Patriots offense, right? I mean, this kid has shown that he's explosive, and there's no reason that they're not going to find ways to get the ball in his hands. I'm not obsessed with it happening, until September. Quite honestly,
Right.
I think he's shown a little bit what he can do. I think we have a pretty good understanding that they feel like that return game could be benefited, by him. So we'll see how that goes. If you had to ask me the second thing that I'm watching, it's we talked about this the other day, right? Young quarterback, two best friends. It's the running game for sure. So he factors into that. So does Mondre, and we'll see how all that shakes out. But it's the offensive line, right? So what does this young offensive line look like? How are they handling everything that the Vikings defense throws at them? Because there's a lot there, and as we said before, it's very chaotic when you talk about this Vikings defense. So nothing like getting you ready for the Raiders and what they might bring to the table as the Vikings. And again, that's why this was all just by design, in my estimation anyway, by Mike Vrabel. So I'll be watching that line closely to see how it works in tandem with Drake Maye.
I agree. I'm more on the Will Campbell end of things, but you're right. The line in totality, of course. But, I know Jared Wilson's a rookie there too, but I'm watching Will Campbell. I'm sorry, Jared Wilson. You ain't the guy. You're not the first rounder. Will Campbell is. I want to see Will Campbell, who had a stellar performance against the Commanders, do it again against the Vikings in this defense that is so blitz heavy. I need Will Campbell to have another good week, Jade. I'm with you on that. Who else you got for me?
I'm curious to watch Chisholm in this game. I think that he's shown that he can make some noise, throughout the course of camp. And you look at that receiver room, and I'm curious to see how they use him, how much they use him. As he obviously looks to try to solidify a spot on this team. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch. He obviously had a great game against the Commanders. So I'm very curious to see, again, what they have him do and how much they have him do out there against the Vikings.
I mean, I just get him the ball in space and the kid can cook. That's how I see it. Keep it simple. Just figure out how to get him the ball quickly and let him cook. Now, we talked about this offensive line facing this challenging Vikings defense. The veteran, Morgan Moses, spoke on that this week as well. Take a listen.
Just makes you question, makes you think a little bit, when you get to the offense, when you get to the line, as an offense, you want to be able to play fast. So, he has a lot of exotic looks and things that you probably never seen before, and sometimes it makes you, play a little bit slow. So that's what makes that defense goes. And to be able to go out there for these 2 days and be able to get that, it's been quality work for us.
Was today in any way tougher than yesterday for you guys offensively? Morgan, just looked like it was maybe a little tougher to move the ball today.
We had different emphasis today. We were more in the red zone, not total field today. The practice was scheduled to be more red zone, things like that. But I think overall, the how we operate, is getting better every day, and that's what we got to do. We just got to continue just putting our best foot forward every day and getting better.
As a guy who's gone up against Harold Landry on occasion, as a tackle going up against an edge rusher during practice, what stood out for you when it comes to him?
We get quality edge rushers every day in practice. Our defensive line, not even just the number one, but we got depth on our defensive line. So being able to go against those guys every day, and then be able to go against these DNs in Minnesota, and what they bring to the table, and just obviously the schemes that they bring. It's good for everybody to see. Good for the quarterback to see. Good for the offensive line, the running backs. We got a lot of blitz pickups these last 2 days. So being able to see those things and get them on tape and see what we can do better and see how we can move forward has been great.
Morgan, when you reviewed the tape of yesterday's practice, I know you're busy looking at your own line and your own play, but what, if anything, did you notice about Drake's ability to handle that volume of blitzes that we've been talking about?
Yeah, things are going to happen. It's just the NFL. Everybody has great players, great quality players, great defenses, and but it's about bouncing back after a bad play, and I think that's what that 2 minute looked like. We had a couple of bad plays the first couple of plays, but to be able to get the ball in the end zone, that's the answer to it all. So just being able to get quality work, man.
We asked you a lot about Will. There's a lot of attention on him. He's a first round pick.
How do you feel like he's handled, everything that's being thrown at him? Do you feel like it's getting a little fast for him at times?
It's for everybody. You're seeing different things. It's a different offense, so everybody's learning together. The key is just you make one mistake one day, don't come back and make the same mistake the next day. Find something else to make a mistake on that we can, get better every day about. And I think Will's done a great job of that. Just, getting better every day, asking questions, and that's what you want as a young guy.
That is a large human being, Jade. But you know what? Double M made a good point. He's a big man. He made a great point about this offensive line has already been tested every damn day going against this Patriots defense. I mean, that is the test, right?
It is, yeah. No, I mean, look, that is what camp is designed for. But there's always some benefit to let's hit somebody in a different uniform. It, feels a little better. But look, I do think that so much of the success of this team is going to rest upon this offensive line and obviously Drake Maye. And, Travis, I was reading ESPN came out today with their floor to ceiling rankings for all 32 teams in the National Football League. And of course, friend and Patriots reporter forever, it seems, right? Like Mike Reese is completely right that the X factor for this team is Mike Vrabel and the new leadership and the new regime in New England. But the swing is from 11-6 to 6-11. So it's a pretty big swing as to what this is going to look like for the Patriots come December, if you will. But to me, I think that so much of that is going to rest upon this young quarterback and this line because the way the line goes, so goes the game.
Well, here's the question. Will Drake Maye's top target be healthy for week 1? Are you wondering who we're talking about? That's the point of a tease, to entice you to stay. So stay with us here on Foxborough Rush. We'll tell you who we're talking about and if they'll be ready by week 1 or not, right here on Foxborough Rush. Roll with us.
How was that, Nay? How you feel? Like where are we at?
We'll see.
I've been hearing that you push too much.
Yeah,
I've been hearing
that
you're trying to perform more than be smart about what to do here.
I heard that too, man. We'll
this
see,
is Scoop
man.
City.
Everybody's excited, man. I'm just taking it day by day.
Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. There's Diana Rossini there with Stefon Diggs in a one-on-one, and we'll get into this, Jade, but you and I have been in this game a long time. The millisecond you ask an athlete about an injury that they're dealing with, it is the wall of all walls that goes up. It is defense city. They're not going to answer you. They're going to be cool and cordial, but they ain't answering no damn question. Stefon Diggs was tap dancing right there, Jade. That's exactly what that was. He wanted no parts of that conversation.
Yeah, do you blame him? Quite honestly.
No. No.
Nobody's going to give any intel on how they're doing, especially not when you still got a couple weeks for till the season actually gets here. So, look, put on the tap shoes and tap away. That's just the way it's going to go, Travis. You nor I, as you just said, would expect any different. We're just not going to get any real concrete answers on Steph and how he is feeling, how the knee is, and why things sort of are the way they are right now. Obviously started out so strong in camp. It was, everyone was like, oh my gosh, you're already here. You're cleared to play. Wow. Demonstrated some great catches, some good moves, all that kind of stuff. It feels like from everything that I've heard and seen that it's, sort of dropped off a little bit when it comes to, the full drills out there. So we'll see. And we obviously didn't see him Friday night. And Mike Vrabel said it was a coach's decision when asked about it. So, good luck. You can try to read the tea leaves all you want. I don't think any of us are really going to know how healthy Stefon Diggs is until the first injury report comes out ahead of week 1.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny because I started the segment by saying you and I know better than to ask these athletes anything about this stuff because we know we're not going to get an answer. In Diana Rossini's defense, you have to ask it because this is on This is on the heels of reports that Stefon Diggs is, quote, pushing too hard. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to get to the full interview here, but you have to ask the question, Jade, because, listen, like you said, I mean, we had watched clips all offseason, well, not the one on the Love Boat, but on the field, we had watched clips of this guy looking explosive, doing all these things, and then you hear the reports that he's pushing too hard. So you have to ask the question, right? I get it.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. If you don't ask the question, you're not doing your job. Diana's just doing her job by asking the question. I think the reality is that's why you kind of joke about it. Like, hey, this is Scoop City. This is what we do here, because you know that you're not going to get a real answer.
That's right. That's right. Well, let's get into the whole Scoop City interview. Here it is. Sit down with Stefon Diggs, Diana Rossini. She's trying to get some info, but my man is backpedaling like a DB. Take a listen.
Where are you at now, a year later, after the injury? What is your role in the New England Patriots?
I'm still the same guy. I feel like that big bro role just comes from my upbringing and having little brothers and, bringing them along and trying to lead by example. So it's kind of natural to me. So it's carrying over to the Patriots. A lot of young guys, you got to have more of a conversation with them and their outlook on me more than anything, just because leadership looks different in different places, like as far as like how you lead, like how you talk to people, how you lead by example. So for me, I'm still in that same mindset as far as like getting after it, and I want to lead by example and bring as many people with me as possible.
How was that, Nate? How you feel? Like where are we at?
We'll
like
see.
I've been hearing that you push too much.
Yeah,
I've been hearing
that
you're trying to perform more than be smart about what to do here.
I heard that too, man. We'll
this
see,
is Scoop
man.
City.
Everybody's excited, man. I'm just like taking it day by day.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes,
Is it hard
man.
to? Because I feel for you, because you obviously are overdoing it at times because you want to be out there and you're such a competitor. It's hard to hold back when I'm sure you're on a timeline, right, where you got to hit certain marks to make sure you feel good. But overall, you feel like you're moving in.
I feel great. I mean, I'm pushing the needle always. I'm always odding on doing more than less. And, we'll see about week one. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. We'll see. Coaches aren't too excited. I'm not too excited. I'm just trying to take it day by day. So we'll see, man. It looks like we just don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, there's a chance, but you just got to get through camp, right? That's the goal as the team right now.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I feel like you're really trying to tell me something, and I'm really bad at reading the signs.
Yeah. Oh, Jade, you and I feel like we could teach a class on, I don't even know body language. Stefon Diggs is so smooth all the time, right? He's like 007. I've never ever seen him sit back and pull one of these numbers, the old arm cross, I'm not going to give up any information. Diana was trying. Look, here's the reality, though. I think this is twofold. I think from a Patriots standpoint, you put all your eggs in his basket at this point. Like, you paid him like a number one wideout, so you need that production. That's on one hand. On the other hand, you've also put him in a position of leadership. So, and that got off to a rocky start in the offseason. So it's like, I sort of get the team's angle here of being careful, but then I see Stefon Diggs' viewpoint too of, yes, he's older. Yes, he's coming off a major injury. People are questioning if he still has it, right? So he's trying to prove himself. This is a conundrum. I think the best way to just handle it is just take your time, okay? Let him get these workouts in, but don't rush him back. Don't push too much. I actually think the Pats, Jade, are handling this the right way. Do you?
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, look, they're trying to get in sync, right? Like, that's part of it. He's trying to make sure that he's healthy and ready to go 100% before the regular season starts, not the preseason, the regular season. So that's part of it. And he's trying to, learn Josh McDaniels' offense and what that's going to be and what his role is. And, we talked a little bit about that on the show on Wednesday here. And, listening to the wide receivers coach talking about how, even if he's not getting the ball, even if you're not seeing it in the numbers, that doesn't mean that he's not having an impact on the field. But in order to have that impact, you need to know exactly where you need to be in McDaniel's design to make sure that the guy who is getting the ball actually gets the ball. So there's all these different things at play here. And look, I don't expect anybody within Mike Vrabel's regime in Foxborough to be forthcoming and be like, oh, let me lay it out for you. This is what we're doing, and we're going to do it this way because of this reason. No. Like, none of that is going to happen. So they're going to go about it the way they feel like they need to go about it. They are obviously hoping that they're going to get the very best out of Stefon Diggs because, as you said, they need it. And that's hopefully the unified goal, between him and the team. Like, and if it is, and they can all work together towards that, so be it. Things should work out.
You make such a great point about Mike Vrabel's regime with this stuff because we just watched and we pointed out, you and I, how Stefon Diggs, little defensive mechanisms. I don't want to answer the question. Mike Vrabel, he just gets all spicy mouth when you ask him about Stefon Diggs and his health. Take a listen to this. A little back and forth, a little chippiness with a reporter. Listen to this.
That's yesterday about how he's not sure about his readiness for week 1.
Did you really believe that, Phil? I mean, you're a smart guy. I don't know where you went to school. It wasn't Ohio State, but like, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that, Phil? Or are you just trying to bait me into something?
I'm not baiting you into anything. He did say he wasn't sure he'd be ready for week 1. Is there any doubt in your mind?
I don't know the context in which he said it, but you'd have to help me. I mean, he's been out here almost every day. I'm excited of where he's at, and we'll see when week 1 comes. But he's going to practice today. Hopefully he helps us in the red zone. But we can't predict the future about week 1. I just know he's going to be out there today. And he works hard and, he cares, which are 2 important things.
Jade, one thing about those Ohio State alums. I hope I'm not offending you. I don't know where you went to school, but look, I'm from the Steph Diggs location, okay? I'm a Maryland kid, so I didn't go to the Ohio State. But one thing about the Ohio Staters, they will tell you where they went to school every chance they get. So you heard Vrabel there take a shot. But, I mean, again, Jade, what do you want us to do? We have to ask the questions, right? Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're going to ask the question, and I believe that was Phil Perry asking the question. Look, he's there day in and day out. He knows the job. He knows he's got to ask the question. He tried to give a little bit of the background, in terms of when Diggs answered the question and said what he had to say. But look, I mean, this is Vrabel. Like, this is how he's going to handle things. This is not the first time we've seen him get a little spicy with a reporter, asking a question, or maybe asking a question that had already been asked, right? Like, we've seen some of this, and he's just gonna give you what he wants to give you, which in this case was, all right, look, you've seen him. He's been practicing. You've seen what he's been doing during those open practices. I don't know what week 1's going to bring, but I can tell you right now, he's practicing today.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
coach speak, right? Yeah, day by day. No, you're right. Also, too, when the season starts, regular season, I kind of sort of just feel like this defense is going to be carrying this team regardless. Even with Steph Diggs, 100%, without Steph Diggs because he's not there yet, or a 60%, it doesn't matter. I think early in the year, the defense will need to carry this team until the offense has time to gel anyways. You have so many rookies. You have a second-year quarterback. You do have an aging receiver trying to figure it out health-wise. Like, it's Josh McDaniels back in the fold. It's going to take time, I think, for cohesion and all the kind of chemistry that you need on offense. Offense is about nuance. So I think that's going to take time. Meanwhile, this is a good-looking defense. Your head coach is jumping in every pile of fights that you could see, so he's clearly tuned up. The testosterone is on 10, not 9, 10. He's ready to go. So this is going to be an intense, tough, defensive-laden football team until the offense can catch up. So coming up here on Foxborough Rush, we'll keep the receiver talk going. We talk Steph Diggs here. When we come back, fantasy world for wide receivers. We'll talk that next here on Foxborough Rush. Make sure you roll with us. And make sure if you want some Foxborough Rush swag, you go to Nesson Wicked Wearables. That's right, they're wicked and they're wearables.com and get you some Foxborough Rush drip. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. Check this out. Some dudes here at this joint practice asked Drake Maye, can you pick our fantasy football order, please? He said, yeah, of course. I got you. No problem. And then he does it. But my thing is, I don't think he ever gave them like his autograph, did he? Like, didn't he just
John
write
Hancock.
the numbers here, Jade, and walk off? What happened here? They blew it.
Ask and you shall receive, but they just asked for the draft order, and they were really pumped about getting the draft order. I imagine, like, one of them, whoever wins that league, is at some point going to be like, dude, Drake Maye put me in the best spot, and that's why I won. So it's coming back. Just wait for it, Travis.
I'm going to be honest. If you don't have access to this video, right, and you just told someone, yeah, Drake Maye picked our draft order, and you show them the board, like, this is his handwriting, and they'll be like, that ain't no damn Drake Maye's handwriting. You're like, no, I swear. That's why I'm saying they blew it. What you got to do is say, hey, can you pick our draft order and give us your autograph while you're at it? And then he's already writing, so he's like, okay, no problem. These guys blew it. They panicked. They didn't think Drake Maye would do it. He did it, and they froze like deer in headlights, Jade. You got to have the eye of the tiger.
You got it. You got it. Get what you ask for. Get what you ask for.
All right,
That's all
ESPN. Here's ESPN's fantasy top-rated fantasy wideouts coming into your fantasy draft. We're going to help you out here. Of course, Jamar Chase is number one. There was actually a fist fight in my league over Jamar Chase. True story. We don't have time to get into it, Jay, but it really happened.
Oh,
I needed Vrabel to jump in. Yeah, I know. It was nuts. That's another rush for another day. Justin Jefferson, 2. CeeDee Lamb, 3. Puka, 4. Malik Neighbors, 5. I mean, absolute studs here. I'm dropping down to 10 because it's all about my fantasy team, Jade. As you know, this is personal. I just traded for Drake London, and he's 10 on this list. So I feel good about it. All I had to do, I think I gave up maybe a 4th-round pick. You know, it's a keeper league. So Drake London, top 10. I feel like I'm in good shape about that. You always say your kids talk about this fantasy draft stuff. Who are the receivers? Are there any fights in your house about Jamar Chase? I get why he's number one. He's an absolute stud.
I need Vrabel to come over and like break out my boys every once in a while. Hey, can you do that, Vrabel, please? Like just every once in a while. I think if you came once, they would never do it again. Look, I would just I don't know where my kids are going on their draft yet. We'll find out. But I would throw a couple things out with some of these guys. I think Puka. Jimmy Garoppolo is probably one of the best backups in the league.
Yes.
But Matt Stafford dealing with that back stuff, I know he's supposed to throw again, I think tomorrow, but it feels a little weird with everything that's going on with the Rams and the way they've handled it. Because it's been like, well, he's going to be out there. He woke up, he didn't feel great this morning, so now he's not going to be out there. It just makes me kind of, things that make you go, like a little bit. So worth kind of keeping tabs on that, I would say. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would imagine he's still going to crush it. But obviously there's a new coordinator there. So just something to keep in mind as you're going through your draft, like all those little things, Same thing with A.J. Brown and Philly, new coordinator there. He's still going to light it up. But it's just, it's all that little like background nuance stuff that I think is worth keeping tabs on. Justin Jefferson, new quarterback and J.J. McCarthy. But come on, it's Justin Jefferson.
Get him the ball. That's how that goes. J.J. McCarthy, get him the damn ball. I'm going to give you 2 sleepers. One's a Patriot. One I'll call Patriot adjacent. The Patriot is Stefon Diggs. He's 38th on this list. I don't have any issue with the ranking. I get it. We both, I'm sure, get why he's that low. But the upside there, Jade, if you can get him late in your draft, right? Play him at like a flex or something. Why wouldn't you, right? Drake Maye, we know, he's going to feed him because what choice does he have? It's just a health question at that point. The other one I say is Patriots adjacent. Ironically, he wears number 17. He's 17 on this list, Terry McLaurin. I think he's low on this. I would move him up closer to top 10, top 15, because I just think the contract stuff going on, people aren't really thinking of him right now because the contract's taking all the attention. But Terry McLaurin is a guy we have seen put up numbers with crap at quarterback. Now he has Jaden Daniels. We saw what he did last year with him. I think Terry, hey, much like the Patriots, that's all the Commanders have. I mean, they'll try and sell you on Debo. I ain't buying that. I'm not buying that. Debo doesn't even look in shape, for God's sakes. If Kyle Shanahan lets you walk out the door, that tells me everything I need to know. So I think Terry McLaurin is a good sleeper there that you can get late in your draft too. I still am holding out hope he's a Patriot, Jade, but I'm giving up on that. I feel like that ship has sailed.
I mean,
don't you?
But I do think. I mean, look, even like Cliff Kingsbury came out and said, like, we need him out here. Like, it's it's getting late soon, right? Like that. Yeah. It's kind of like that's where we are at this point in time. So we'll see how that plays out, and hopefully we'll know sooner rather than later. But I agree with you. I mean, I think that his numbers, with what Jaden Daniels can do, I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to necessarily have the same year that he had his rookie year when he absolutely just lit up the league. But I don't think he's going to have a huge drop off either. So given that, I would anticipate that things, assuming they get worked out between him, and the Commanders, he's going to have good numbers for wide receiver for fantasy.
We'll wrap up this fine football program when we come back hearing from you in our mailbag. Stay tuned. Mailbag here. Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. It's time for the mailbag where we hear from you. Let's get to it. Here are the comments. Jade, Magic Mike, Marky Magic, 55. I was close. On who's a better franchise quarterback to have. Would you rather have Drake Maye or J.J. McCarthy to build around? I mean, Magic Mike, what do you think? Drake Maye, duh, right, Jade? Come on.
Let's just see him play. I mean, come on. I know, we're in New England. I am rooting for Drake Maye. I think he's going to be a great quarterback in the National Football League.
Me too.
But I'm not doing any evaluations until he's been out there for 3 years. And last I checked, the first year he was out there, he mostly had to run for his life. So,
That's right. Amen. SC Man 8436 on Drake Maye, quote, Maye will never be better than Jaden Daniels. How the hell do you know? How do you know? Yeah. You don't know that. Jaden Daniels, I would argue, Jade, he had a better supporting cast in the sense of he had Terry McLaurin. That doesn't hurt. His offensive line was better than Drake Maye. His coaching staff had brain cells. That was more than Drake Maye had. He had a lot of advantages. Was that mean? I'm sorry. He had a lot of advantages that Drake Maye did not have. So let's let their careers play out. Can we not jump to conclusions that Drake Maye
last
sucks
I checked,
and
Jaden? The league passed on Tom Brady.
Right. We're rushing to judgment. Yeah. No, you don't. That says it all. Bren W. 93. I'm sure he's a nice guy. On start time for Patriots at Vikings. Quote, why is a Patriots-Vikes game at 1? Seems like a weird start time for a preseason. You said this to start the show, Jade. This is all you right here.
1997, Pete Carroll was the head coach. Last time a preseason kick for the Pats was at 1 o'clock.
97. Damn, I had hair in 97, Jade. Crazy times. Corey Kaketti on Steph Diggs. I didn't want you to laugh that hard at that joke. I knew a laugh was coming. I didn't think belly laugh. A belly laugh's aggressive.
You said it so willingly, so memorably,
I know.
And
I used to go like this, Jade. It had so much volume and bounce. Corey Kaketti on Steph Diggs says, quote, I know Diggs is our best wide receiver, but I'm already sick of him. Well, damn, why? Could you keep writing like this? We needed another sentence here, Jade.
Yeah. Why? And if he's racking up catches, in October, November, December, I don't think you're going to be so sick of him.
Right. And also, why are we sick of him? Like, I have so many questions. Like, because he's hurt? And he's trying to work his way back? What's the problem? You can't.
He's
you
been
can't.
out there since camp started. Like, come
that's what I'm
on.
saying.
Nobody even expected that. Give the dude some credit.
And Corey, you can't still be mad at the Love Boat, okay? That is over with. That is water under the bridge, pun intended. Chrysaline Z8I, I don't care if I butchered your name, on the Tom Brady statue, quote, big waist, small head. You know, I've been hearing that my whole life, Jade. I am so sick and tired of people discriminating on big waist, small head people. It happens. Okay, get over it.
I told you. I was like, where's the, like, this in the Brady statue, right? Like,
Right.
him on the sideline, the, like, LFG. Like, come on.
Yes.
Where's that?
I agree. That's why I'm in charge of workshopping your statue outside of Nesson. I'm going to make sure they get it right. Jonathan Watson, 5818 on Efton Chisholm. This is Jade's boy, Efton Chisholm right here. Quote, Efton Chisholm equals GOAT. That's a little aggressive, Jade.
A little aggressive? Come on, Travis. That's a lot aggressive. Like, that's just flat out aggressive. Like, nobody earns this GOAT status in training camp. Nobody earns GOAT status in preseason. Nobody earns GOAT status in a single season. Come on. Back it up. Rein it in.
I think it's the ghost of Julian Edelman. Everyone wants this kid to be Edelman, so they're just ordaining him. Like, he's the Pope. It's just like, Efton Chisholm, he's the GOAT. Because, Jules is still fresh in their mind. I get it. But give the kid time, would you? Hey, thanks for giving us your time. Travis Thomas, Jade McCarthy, we appreciate you. Jade, give my love to Gordy. You know I love him. Thank you, everyone, for rolling with us on Foxborough Rush. We'll see you after the Pats beat the Vikings next week. Peace.
See ya.